You're listening to Bad Dog Agility, bringing you training tips, interviews, and news about the great sport of dog agility.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Jennifer.
And this is episode 200. Today's podcast is brought to you by Elite Science. Unlock your dog's full potential with a unique competitive edge, 1-TDC. 1-tetradecanol complex is a patented blend of unique fatty acid oils designed to safely and effectively keep joints and muscles at their best to maximize performance and shorten recovery time. 1-TDC is the next generation of fatty acids and is used by many current and past national agility champions and world team members. All of our listeners will automatically qualify for a great 1-TDC special offer by purchasing online at BDA1TDC.com. That's BDA, the number 1, TDC.com. So here we are at episode 200, and we have a very special guest on the podcast. We are so excited to welcome the 2018 Large Dog European Open Champion Max Sprinz to the podcast. Welcome, Max, and congratulations on an amazing agility weekend.
Hello, guys. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy you're having me today.
Wonderful. Well, I don't think that the majority of our audience is really familiar with you, other than seeing your winning European Open run, which became instant viral video on YouTube and Facebook. And many people will be surprised to learn that you are technically a junior, 18 years old. So tell us about your history in the sport.
Well, I started to do agility in 2013 with my medium dog, Emma. I basically just went to a dog school and saw all these obstacles around there. And I kind of got interested. And so I started to become a little bit obsessed with YouTube videos of all the big guys and watching videos. I started to save money for my own obstacles and trained in my garden with my dog Emma. And I trained, and so I got to learn more about this cool sport. And well, at 2015, I got my Border Collie, which I really wanted. So I begged my parents to get Bäxx, and yeah, I'm so happy they said yes, and he's the perfect dog for me. And I try to get my own little things in education and foundation training and learning with my dog together. So I think that's pretty much what I did the last years. So the last year was really crazy for me, going from training in my own garden to be on the really cool and high competitions.
That is amazing. And what kind of dog was Emma?
Emma is a terrier. She was like a fox dog, a fox terrier. And she was really hard. She's like a dog who was very sensitive with noises and stuff. So she was very hard to handle, and she still is. But I always say she's the reason why I do agility the way I do right now. I know very much from her. I learned very much from her, and I'm very happy to have her.
I absolutely love your story, because we talk all the time about how we can get new people into the sport and why this sport is so exciting to so many people. And to hear that just 5 years ago, you just happened to see the equipment kind of around in different dog training places is just amazing. You were like an antidote come to life of how people
Thank you.
into this sport. So tell us a little bit more about Baxx, where, being new to the sport, how did you find a dog, a breeding? What kind of research went into that?
Yeah, actually, my father has some sheep, and he always had Border Collies the last few years. Not too long, I think, also 5 years, but I get to know Border Collies with his dog. So I really wanted this kind of dog, because I'm really, really obsessed with their kind of working, with their will to please. And yeah, I really love the breed, really. And so I started to search for some different puppies, and I had my ideas on a puppy. The funny thing about this is I totally wanted to get the opposite of Bäxx. I wanted a female and not a chocolate one. That was the funny thing. But I saw a picture of him on Facebook, and the breeder was only living half an hour away from me. So I decided to beg my parents to get him, and we were visiting him, and I really fell in love because he was such a sweet puppy, and all of my thoughts of being a black puppy and a female, I just skipped them because he was so cool. And yeah, I think that's the story how I got him.
That's so much fun. We definitely have our preferences on color and things like that, but at the end of the day, it always ends up being about the dog.
Exactly.
So going from your terrier to your border collie, what was so different about the training process? What were the strengths of you and Baxx in your working relationship, or what things did you struggle with as you were really learning the sport still? I mean, when you're on your second dog, you were still learning the sport.
Yeah, well, with Emma, it was always like a fight to get her work with me. And I think that's the main difference to Bäxx. He was always like the dog who wanted to do something for me. He really reads my mind and tries to work with me and is happy when I'm happy, instead of being like walking around and looking around and maybe being aggressive to other dogs. That was another thing with Emma. So I had a lot to work with Emma, but the main part, which is really different to my border collie, really is the focus on working, the focus on me, and really being able to work and to have fun with each other.
And the majority of your training, did you find a live instructor? You were talking about building your own equipment, which is where a lot of us start. Did you do a lot of online training, or kind of what was your training process as you learned this?
I always wanted to do this stuff, but unfortunately I was 15, 16 and I couldn't. So I was going to a trainer like 5 minutes from me, and she was doing agility training, who was very good. I really appreciate her, but she was not the trainer to get you to the very top, because she was focused on the people just wanting to have some fun with their dogs, but really not going to educate more and more to become a really, really good team. She was happy with just you having fun with your dog, which is totally fine. But I was someone who wanted kind of more. I really wanted to be good and give all I have and to get everything out of my dogs. So I started to watch YouTube videos of people, and I also found the Bad Dog Agility thing of Lisa Frick on the Agility 2012. So this kind of stuff kind of tried to get my own mind into all those things. And I think that's how my agility grew, because I couldn't afford anything expensive like online training or something, but I tried to see the other agility people as an inspiration.
That is absolutely amazing. So basically self-taught all the way up to the highest level of competition in the world, and then showing up at this event.
So let's talk a little bit about this year's European Open, if you don't mind. So last year, I attended the European Open in Italy, and it was my first time at the event. Did not go this year, but was this your first time competing at the European Open?
No, I also was at 2017's European Open with my medium dog Emma.
Okay, and how did you prepare this year? How did you prepare both yourself? How did you prepare Baxx this year for that level of competition? Was there anything you learned from last year's experience that you felt played into your preparation for this year?
Well, I think the most important thing for me this year was really to get in a very good shape. Also Bäxx and me, like not just physically, but also mentally, being really calm and next to this stuff, I really tried to focus on swimming and running with my dogs. So that was really the main part for me to prepare this year. But also, of course, I did some coursework, some agility, but I really tried to get as effective sessions as possible with him. That really was my goal, just to get every small thing of the agility course trained again, that I'm really confident and that he's really confident in running the course with me, so that the only thing we have to worry about at the event itself is to get our focus straight and to get our thing done.
Now, did you think the courses this year were similar or on par with what you had been training on, or did you feel like you were over prepared for the courses? Had you been, maybe practicing harder courses or harder stuff than what you ended up seeing at the event?
Well, I always do very hard courses, I would say, because just because I enjoy doing very hard stuff, because it's challenging and I need to run fast, and that's what I really like to train. So it's always like I come to a competition and the course is easier than I trained it before. So I really think the courses this year were not too hard. It was okay. I really liked them. They were very fluent and fast to run, but still there were some tricky things in them. So I kind of like the courses.
Yeah, clearly the courses worked out great for you. You ended up with 6 clean runs, not just, 1 or 2 like some people, but actually did not have a single mistake at the entire event, which is incredible. So incredible.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Sarah mentioned earlier that a lot of people weren't familiar with you. And I know there was a big discussion in the States when people found out that you were 18 years old. So that makes you technically a junior handler. So did you consider competing at both the European Open and the European Open Junior? Is that something you thought about, or is there a regulation against doing both? How does that work out?
No, I really thought about running Junior European Open, but so I tried to run the European Open tryouts and see how that goes. So I just wanted to decide which one I want to enter, and of course I choose the big European Open instead of the Junior European Open.
Cool. Very good. Very interesting. We weren't sure if there were any regulations that, prevent you guys in Germany to do both, or what kind of your thought process was on choosing one versus the other. So very cool. Do you have plans to try out and attend the EO next year? Of course, you kind of have to as the winner. You have to come back and defend your title.
Of course, I want to run European Open next year. And of course, my goal will always be to be as good as possible. So my dream for this year, I wanted to win something like that. And I mean, European Open is such a big thing. So I'm very happy, and I'm still just smiling all the time after this event. So I'm really happy to come back next year, and I'm already very motivated to run last in the finals.
And you will be at the Agility World Championships in Sweden in October. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Very cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so to make that team, there was a tryouts with that. Is that a combined tryouts with the EO tryouts, or are they 2 different tryout events?
We have like 4 pre-tryouts where we have European Open tryouts and Agility World Cup tryouts combined. But after those 4 days, the European Open runners are officially announced, but not the Agility World Cup runners. There's just like a few people who get into the finale of running for the Agility World Cup. So it's a separate weekend for the final tryouts, where there are only, I think, like 60 large and 30 medium and 30 small dogs. And then they have like 3 days to qualify for Agility World Championships.
And so tell us a little bit about your success at that tryouts event to make it onto the AWC team.
Yeah, well, I really was kind of nervous to get the qualification run started with Bäxx, because he's really young, and I was really excited to run it with him. So we did a good first weekend. I think we were like on 20th place because we had some troubles with the bar and stuff. But on the second weekend, we could win 2 runs and had 3 clean runs. So that was a very good thing. So we qualified as 10th team, I think, from Germany to European Open. And yeah, then we got to the final tryouts, and that was my weekend. Really, I had 5 clean runs out of 6, and I won the German Agility World Cup tryouts in front of all those crazy good German agility people. And yeah, that was really crazy. So I think the tryouts went very good for me, and I was very confident to compete at the European Open.
Well, I have an outline here for the podcast, and a little bit later I was going to bring up those amazing German handlers, but you've led right into it. So, I've got to say that as a close follower of the sport, I have been noticing the dominance of the Germans recently in agility. Do you have any thoughts about how agility is different right now, or what the Germans are doing differently in terms of training or trialing or the courses you see on the weekend to kind of lead into these amazing performances?
Well, I think the thing in Germany is we all are at a very good level, I think. So there are so many people who could run at all those big competitions. And at every competition you see here, there are like so many top handlers. You have to be so precise and perfect that we all push each other, I think, to the limits. And just to go over your limit and do the next thing, because if you don't do, you don't have a chance. So I don't think there's a big secret because so many Germans have very good success. I just think it's like we are really trying to get further and further more. And I think our courses are really technical and hard, but the most judges really can build courses which are fluent and fun and fast, but still very hard. So in the highest grade, you need to work every jump and everything. And I just think that everyone who wants to be a very good handler needs to get really, really hard to work and work on himself and work on the dog skills and fitness. And I really think this is the thing which Germany is really good at, having many, many handlers which are very good and which are pushing each other to the limits.
Yeah, the upside of competition, making everybody better.
Exactly.
So as part of either the European Open team or the AWC team, do you then have team practices? Have you had an opportunity to train with many of the other well-known German handlers like Tobias Wust and Daniel Schroeder and some of those guys?
Well, for European Open, we don't have something like that. I think for Germans, the European Open is like, we have like our team meetings on the competition itself, but there's no preparation for the teams before the event. For Agility World, we have a weekend where everybody's coming from the team and where we are focusing on training and running and stuff like that. But I had the opportunity because I can call Tobias and Daniel my friends. So I trained with them together sometimes. So I had the chance to meet them and have fun with them and really do something. So I had the chance, but we technically don't have a weekend for European Open European Open preparation.
Right. Is there anything that you learned from training with them that you didn't know before, or an area where you were able to improve your handling?
Well, for me, just cool to see them being so relaxed over everything. So I think that's what I really learned. It's like just being calm and relaxed and focus on everything. And we pushed each other in the training. Like I had the training with Daniel and Jin. So he was training Jin and I was training Bäxx. And we were like pushing each other and running faster and doing more stuff. So of course, I think I always learned something about when I watch the other dogs and handlers. But the main part really was this cool and easy way of doing all of this.
That's awesome. It's a part of the sport that I think a lot of people overlook, is that mental aspect, and having role models where you can see them have that relaxed, confident attitude. It really does make a difference.
Of course, it really does.
One of the things that I noticed most about your runs in particular when I watched them was the incredible use of distance. And it's the kind of distance where you commit the dog early, trust that your dog is doing what you told them to, and then moving on to the next thing. And as fast as Baxx is, you are almost always ahead of your dog showing the way. Tell us a little bit about that aspect of your handling.
Yes, I think you summarized it quite well. I really try to get my dog as much knowledge as possible. So I really teach obstacle skills very good in the foundation, because I think the better the skill of the dog is, the more I can concentrate and focus on myself while I'm running. So I always try to make it like a combination of good foundation. Then I just try in the course to give my body signals and movements to just show early enough where they need to go, combined with my cue. And I think that's pretty much how I try to run my courses. Bäxx is a really reliable dog, and I try to trust him as much as possible. And yeah, I think that's makes my agility handling as it is.
I think what you explained is, I know it's a goal for myself, but something that a lot of people can take away, which is build a lot of solid trained skills, obstacle performance. You talked about laying a good foundation so that your dog is doing their job. You can trust that they're doing their job, so that when you're out there to handle, you're focusing about your cues and you're focusing on what you need to do. Because I see a lot of people who are trying to do both. They're trying to do the job of the dog and maybe over support the weave poles or over support a contact, and then still try to worry about the handling. And it just gets to be too much. So I'm kind of the mindset of you have a really good training foundation, teaching the dog obstacle performance so that when I get out there, I can focus on my handling and trust that the dog's going to do what I've trained him to. So I really like your thoughts on that.
Thank you.
So one of the things I noticed in watching your runs back and those viral videos online of your tryouts and your EO is you have these beautiful running contacts. How did you train these contacts, or what went into your decision to teach running contacts?
A really cool thing to do. I think that was the decision I made. I found it really, really exciting that the dog does not have to stop and does not have to slow down, because in my agility thoughts, I think it should be fast and not stop. So that's the part why I wanted to have running contact. So as I did with all the other agility things, I really watched many dogs running contact, and I tried to find my own way of doing it. So I used the target mat, which he learned to hit with at least 2 paws. And I really spent a lot of time doing the groundwork with my target at the bottom and mostly with the static toy. So I was not working with a food machine. I was working with a toy that he learns from the beginning to focus on hitting the target and going to the toy and rewarding himself after. So, and then I tried to put the target on the dog walk and get more and more further in my progress, which I thought about.
So one of the questions that we've asked many trainers over the years is, do you think running contacts are necessary to win at the highest level? And it's always interesting to hear the different responses. And I feel like in my observation, the reply from handlers overseas compared to the reply that you'll get sometimes in the States is a little bit different. But what are your thoughts on running contacts in 2018 and looking ahead into the future?
I think running contacts are the future of agility because they are fast and we want fast agility. So I think you just have to look at the last 2 years of competing. European Open Agility World Championships always were won by dogs who have running contacts. It were with Anne and Chi, Teresa and Say, and all those guys. They all had running contacts because the most courses in the finals have like a straight exit or half turn exit. So you really have an advantage if you have a dog running straight and knowing that job. So in my opinion, I would always teach my dog running contacts. First and second, I really think it's kind of necessary to get continuing good results internationally. So maybe there are some courses where you have no disadvantage with a stop dog walk, but there are very, very many courses where you have an advantage with the running contact dog walk.
Yeah, I think your reply is very consistent with a lot of what we've heard from other trainers is that we want agility to be fast, and running contacts are kind of what you're seeing at a lot of the big events and the direction people are going.
And Max, listening to you talk, it's very clear that you have a lot of dog training skill. Talking about the running contacts, this is not, it is first and foremost a dog training issue, not an agility issue. It takes a lot of understanding of reinforcement and drive and all of these things on the dog training side. So you talked about your experience with Emma and then with Max, but where did you pick up all these amazing training skills?
Well, I think the most important thing about dog training is really adjust your exercises to the dog. So I always try to look at my dogs and to see how they react on stuff. So I really try and film every training session I do because I can rewatch it and I can see how the dogs are. Also I really like my dogs to be enjoying themselves, but still I should be the person who they want to who they want to work with or who they want to please. So I really try to get my focus to me. So the dogs really show me what is good and what is bad. And my job as a dog trainer really is to adjust my exercises and to sometimes get my emotions out of the game and just watch my dog. And then I can relate to it, and then I can do my new training plan.
I feel like I need to take that little answer that you just gave and put it in its own file and email it out to the whole world, because the summary that you just gave of the key to dog training is just absolutely brilliant. Watching your dog, adjusting to your dog, being the person your dog wants to be with. You just have kind of innately hit on everything that is important about dog training. And it's very clear that that is a huge key to your success in the sport and in your dog training.
Thank you very much.
And I just wanted to highlight one thing that you said, which was you tape everything. So you're taping your practices as well as your competition, correct?
Exactly. I really try to tape everything, just that I have the chance to rewatch a situation which I'm not sure about, or just want to watch how the dog is moving, because the health of my dogs is really important. So if I see on the video they are not moving free or jumping free, I really need to watch it and maybe check them.
And I think another kind of nuance to that is that your style of running, where you are constantly out ahead, where you are committing your dog and you're moving on, you can't handle that way and also always be watching what your dog is doing. You have to have that trust. And so that video review is so important, so that you can see what your dog is doing when you're out ahead and you are just using your peripheral vision to keep track of your dog.
Exactly, yeah.
So we talked about your amazing success at tryouts, your amazing success at EO, so many clean runs, not just to make the team, not just to win EO. You can do those things and not necessarily have as many clean runs as you had. And one thing that brings up is both on the running contact side and on bars, you are hitting your running contacts at such a consistent rate. You're keeping all of the bars up. Is that typical for you as a team, or were those two exceptional weekends? How is your rate on your contacts, and have you struggled with bars in the past jumping a large dog?
I have to say Bäxx is a really focused and consistent dog, so I can't say this is something that would be with every dog like it, but it's like this with Bäxx. So I really try to do a very good foundation, as we talked earlier, and I really want him to understand. So I really have to, like in his whole competition life, which is like over a year now, I think I had like 3 dog walks I had to correct, and the rest was very beautiful. So my criteria is really high. I want him to hit on the down half of the contact, so only half of the contact. That's really a high criteria. And those 3 times, or I don't know exactly if it were 3 times or 3 to 5, it were really not many times that I needed to correct like dog walks. So this is really a consistent thing. And with the bars, I had a time where I needed to correct many bars. So I think as I started to compete with him, he got faster and faster, and then the bars may fall down. And as I noticed he gets more and more bars, I try to really set his mind to keep them up. So I tried a little game, and I always stopped when he dropped the bar and then let him pick up the bar. So he went to the bar and bring it to me, and I laid it back on. That was our game. And that was like, I could change his mind from just on caring and running to really care about bars. And to be honest, it really was just like 3 or 4 weeks, which we struggled. And since that, I had a few bars, but he's really consistent in his real agility career till now. He really wants to, and I really want to do everything right as well. So we try our best.
And when you say that you had to correct a couple of dog walks or a couple of bars, is that something that you are able to do in a trial setting, or all of this happens in practice?
No, we are allowed to correct things in Germany. Of course, you can't correct something like 5 times but you are allowed to correct something. So most of the judges really accept if you are doing if the dog walk is not good, they accept doing it 2 times again, just if it is not as perfect as you want it to. So I really appreciate most of our judges, because the dogs really can learn that training and running on competitions is the same like in training. So yeah, but the thing is, some people really go on competitions too early and have to correct very, very many dog walks and stuff. So this is what I always don't like on those competitions, because if the dog is hitting quite consistently, I really try to get that consistency in my competition performance. And if the dog does not understand the criteria correctly, I can't run an agility competition and want him to do it perfectly. So I think if the dog really understands what his job is and is able to perform it consistently, then I think it's really good to get your training into competitions.
That's a really, really great point. And it's something that a lot of people do discuss as, what place does that have in trialing, and how big of a influencing factor is it to be able to do things like that in training? That's something that we are not allowed to do in the United States. So it's something that people see as a possibility in other countries and would love to see happen here as well, to kind of get, like you said, get that trial and that training a little bit more similar so the dogs can really perform their best.
Yeah. The important thing about that is it's not about getting the best results out of it. That's one factor. But the other factor is it's really unfair, I think, for the dogs, that if the dog walk was missed on a competition, I'm going out of the run and I'm frustrated. Why? Because my dog didn't have a chance to learn. It's the same like in training. So it's frustrating for the dog and for the handler. So that's what I really don't understand in some countries where you are not allowed to correct things. And I really appreciate the German judges who are mostly really calm and easy with correcting a thing.
That's very interesting. So we talked about your running contacts. How about your seesaw training? What is your criteria on the seesaw?
Yeah, and that's the only obstacle I have my worries about, because I don't think it's possible right now to teach a dog consistent seesaw with not really stopping. So my dogs learn 2-on-2 off dog walk, 2-on-2 off seesaw in that case. So I didn't find anything different right now for me. But with my next dog, I will try to have 4-on. So my dogs will learn to get as high as possible and wait there. Don't do the 2-on-2 off step. Just wait at the highest point.
Right. And so did you say that you did have a 2-on-2 off dog walk before you transitioned to running?
I trained with Bäxx a 2-on-2 off dog walk just in case I don't have my turns ready for competition. So I did not do it earlier than my running contacts, but I sometimes just trained them and did them to prepare him if there's a situation in a competition I don't feel very comfortable with. I could have taken the 2-on-2 off dog walk out just to do it a little bit easier and try to challenge myself if we both are a little bit more familiar with the whole situation.
And with your running contacts, you mentioned that you put together your own method using a mat. Did you train with anyone on the running, or the whole running contact was just you kind of figuring that out on your own?
Yes, exactly. I really did the running contacts all on my own in my backyard garden, and because dog walk was the first obstacle I bought myself. So that was really an obstacle I wanted to try. I always said to myself, if it's something that's good, I can say I did it on my own. And that's what I really like. And they are my running contacts. I trained them with the way I think was very good for my dog in that moment. And yeah, I'm very happy how consistent they are.
Well, we are impressed. And I know that everybody who listens to this is going to be impressed. So there you go. And now you've got me curious, what kind of space do you have for training? And have you been in school while you're doing all of this training as well?
Yes, I really try to make the time. So for me, always agility training with my dogs was a real high priority. So instead of doing my homework, I rather got out in the garden with my dogs and working something. So really I'm passionate about and trying my dogs to get as good as possible. So I was going to school. I had my normal school education till last year, till I finished. And I really try to make as much time as possible with my dogs to train with them or to just spend time with them. And I really don't think it's necessary to have the perfect situation dog. So my garden is like really, really tight and small, and I have 3 trees on it. So it's really not the perfect conditions, but still, I think if you want to make it, you really can do it.
And you're not just saying that because you just won EO. So it's like provable fact that you can do that. And that's truly amazing and really an inspiration for everybody, because not everybody does have the time or the space or the perfect situation or even the perfect dog. It is a sport that we all love and enjoy. And so just getting out there and putting in the work, building that relationship, and then you've been rewarded with a tremendous amount of success.
Yes, and I really, really am so happy because all those work I really wanted to do, and I was always so happy and ambitious to do this agility with my dogs. So I'm so happy it all paid off in some way, because it always paid off with fun I had with my dogs. But still, success is always something I really wanted and I really like, and everybody does like it. So I'm very, very happy, and I'm really looking forward to everything what will maybe come for me and Bäxx and maybe my other dogs. Let's see.
So I was getting ready for this podcast, and I was doing a little bit of Facebook stalking. I was looking at your Facebook wall and the things that were being posted there. And one thing that I did notice is that you have been giving seminars. You had one after your EO win. So what are your plans as an instructor / seminar presenter?
Well, I think I really enjoy giving training and teaching people and the dogs, and really try to get my thoughts on dog training out there. So that's what I really have fun with. And right now I have a very big request for people who really want to work with me. And that makes me very happy, because I don't know what will happen and how long I will be able to give many seminars and stuff. But right now I really enjoy it, and I do it as much as possible. So here for, like countries like Canada and stuff. So I'm really, really happy, and I'm really motivated for all those people who will be working with me. And yeah, I'm really happy, and I'm really, really excited for it.
And I also saw on my Facebook stalking that you just got a new puppy.
Yes, I have Baxx, who is will be 3 years now. And I have my Sheltie puppy, which is 10 months old. So it's kind of crazy that I get another border collie, but he just came my way and I couldn't resist. So let's see, he's out of the dog of my girlfriend and this combination. And so I couldn't resist, and I'm really happy. We will be picking him up in like a week or something.
Well, if your hands get full and you need a little extra time, you're more than welcome to send that little black Sheltie over to Ohio. I'll take her off your hands for you.
Yes, but you remember meeting me at World Agility Open with her?
Yes.
Yes, and she really loved you back then, so she will enjoy seeing you again.
Way. You get busy, just send her over to Ohio. I'll take little Make.
No, she's so cool. I'm really, really happy with her. I'm just starting some foundation work with her now, and she's just the coolest puppy. She's so cool and so drivey. So I'm really happy and so looking forward what will come with her.
So you are, just 18. Do you even know your plans for the future, Max? Do you know where you're going in ability and with your schooling and possible careers? What are you just riding this wave right now and enjoying everything?
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like enjoying everything I can have right now. So that's what I really love. So doing education, I didn't stop at all. I did like a break from it, so I can come back whenever I want. But right now, I really want to focus on my dogs and the agility and giving training and giving seminars. So this is what I'm really looking forward. And I don't know where this all will lead, but I'm really having a blast with all this. So I'm very looking forward.
So, Max, you've been getting these seminar requests. If people want to get a hold of you, if people would like more information about seminars, what's the best way for people to contact you in terms of agility training?
I think really the best way is to write me a message just on Facebook, Facebook Messenger. I'm always like at my phone, so new generation always with their iPhones and stuff. So I think that's really the best way. I of course have like email address and stuff, but I'm more on my Facebook wall and on Messenger and stuff like that. So maybe I don't request everything so fast because like after European Open, I had like 100 requests for everything. So I really try to really answer them all as soon as possible. But I think really Facebook Messenger is the best way to contact me.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Max. It's really exciting to talk to you. I just love talking to people who are excited and passionate about agility, and you clearly are. So congratulations on your win, and we look forward to seeing you at the Agility World Championship. We'll definitely make sure to track you down at the event. Jennifer is going to be competing for Team USA, and I'll announce on the podcast that I'm going to be attending the event as well with Jennifer. We've got some exciting things planned as part of Bad Dog Agility, so I will be at the event as well, and we will definitely see you there.
Thank you very much. It was very fun chatting with you.
And that's it for today's podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Elite Science and NTI Global. End of summer sale, your last chance to take advantage of these super savings. Visit shop.ntiglobal.com for the widest selection of dog agility tunnels for both competition and backyard training. Known for free shipping, more options, high quality products, and low prices, NTI Global has got you covered. Also offering Tamer and Anchor weight bags, along with a full line of accessories and agility storage solutions. Need your agility gear in a hurry? Don't forget to check the in-stock selection. Visit shop.ntiglobal.com and use promo code SUMMER18SALE for 5% savings off today. Promo code good through August 31st, 2018. Happy training!